Hey everyone, Alexa here from the blog theduvallhomestead.com, where I share farm-to-table recipes and homemade natural living. Today I'm sharing with you another whole wheat recipe. I've kind of been on a whole wheat kick recently if you've been following along. I shared my whole wheat sandwich loaf, the seeded sourdough sandwich bread, which was delicious. This is the whole wheat English muffin recipe. I'm a big English muffin fan. I've been making them for a while with my regular sourdough starter and all-purpose flour. They are just such a nice alternative to toast in the morning. We have a lot of eggs and toast basically every morning, and sometimes I'm out of bread and I just need something quick overnight if I don't have time to bake my bread that day. And this is the kind of thing that I will make because I can whip this up the night before and it'll be ready in the morning. So there's no wait time really. I actually got up early this morning to do a few things. First of all, I had to check on our chickens. We just hatched a few chicks in our backyard and they just hatched literally yesterday. And I was not sure, it was my first time seeing a chicken hatch an egg. I was not sure if I should be bringing them food or what they're doing. Basically just letting mama do her thing. Needless to say, I had to get up early to do all of that, and then I wanted to get these going. Now my daughter just woke up, so this is perfect because these were ready just in time. So you're gonna start with 3/4 cup fed active sourdough starter. Now, because these are only English muffins and not a loaf of bread, you could also use sourdough discard here, assuming it's been fed in the last reasonable while. If it's completely almost dead and not working, I wouldn't use that at all, but if you fed it in the last day or so, it would be perfectly fine because when you add the flour and the water here, you are again feeding it. Then you're going to add about 1/4 cup of honey. Always best to have a nice raw local honey. Get all the benefits from the pollen in your area. And 3/4 cup filtered water. 2 teaspoons of salt. I was just reading the other day about how it's so great to use a nice Mediterranean sea salt in your cooking. You get a lot more minerals and health benefits that way as opposed to like an iodized salt. And you're gonna whisk all of that up with a fork. I like to get the wet ingredients nice and combined before I add the flour. What I love about this recipe is that you're just gonna add all these ingredients the night before, which is what I'm doing right now at about 3:30 in the afternoon. It doesn't have to be the evening. And you just let it sit all night. You don't have to touch it. And then in the morning you have delicious English muffins. Then you're going to add your whole wheat flour. So I'm using the Bob's Red Mill 100% stone ground whole wheat. About 2.5 cups of the whole wheat flour. I actually prefer to use whole wheat bread flour, but I didn't have any today. It is a calm, cozy, quiet afternoon here at the homestead. We've had a lot of really hot, nice, beautiful summer days. And it's kind of nice just to have a cloudy one right now. Everyone's quiet. We just had chicks hatch in our backyard, which I'm sure you saw in a YouTube video at some point. I don't know, I haven't made it yet, but they are just hatching as I'm speaking right now. So it's kind of a special day today. We just got back from vacation, so I am out of all my bread products right now. Bread, waffles, bagels, anything I like to make from homemade, from scratch, I'm out of. So I'm gonna combine this with my hands. Just gonna create a nice dough here. So it is definitely time for me to make some stuff. So I just finished a bread dough. Then I got the camera on so I could film this because I want to post this on the blog. And these are my whole wheat English muffins, sourdough. And I always say this in all of my sourdough videos, but just keep in mind, if you are using a different flour than me, or even if you're using the same flour but you have different water, your consistency might be a little different. Sourdough is always a science experiment, so you do have to eyeball some things. And because this is the first time I've used the Bob Mills flour, I think that this is a little bit too dense, so I'm gonna add some more water to it. And that's the thing you just get used to when you're making this for a long time, is how you want your dough to look. One thing I've learned is it always comes out. Even if your dough is on the denser side or the wetter side, I have basically never failed at a sourdough recipe. They all work. You just have to get used to the flour that you have and the water and your environment, etc. So now I'm gonna cover this bowl with a plastic wrap and then a tea towel over the top. And I'm just gonna let it sit on my counter for the rest of the day. Very easy. And I will bake them in the morning. The next morning, You want to get out a Dutch oven. Now this is a new method I've been using to make these English muffins. You can also use a cast iron, but the key is to have a lid. So if your cast irons have a lid, you can use them as well, but I heard about using a Dutch oven and wanted to try it, and actually I think it works better. So you want to get the Dutch oven heating on medium-high heat. Take your dough and you're going to add a teaspoon of baking soda. This makes for a quick and easy breakfast in the morning. Then you want to lightly flour your countertop. We have our coffee machine running right now because it's early in the morning if you're hearing the dripping in the background. And then you're going to divide your dough into 6 pieces. I'm using a dough cutter here, which is my favorite method, or you could tear them apart, or you could use like a biscuit cutter if you want as well. You can also do 8 pieces, so 6 to 8, depending on the size you want. If you are using a cast iron, I would go more towards 8 instead of 6. That way they'll be smaller, so they'll be easier to cook. If you do less, like 6 English muffins, then you're going to have a bigger English muffin, so you have to make sure that you cook it properly. I'm just rolling each one into a ball here and tucking them at the bottom. Next, you're going to lightly grease your Dutch oven with some coconut oil. I like doing this. It adds a little bit of, flavor, a little bit of coconut flavor, but not much. But mostly I just like using coconut oil because it's such a healthy fat. Then you're going to set the English muffins in the skillet or the Dutch oven. Make sure you have enough room for them. They will grow quite a bit. You need to figure out where to get one of those really big, black, wide cast iron Dutch ovens. This is a good one. I just would like a little bit more space, especially if I want to do a double batch or something. Then you want to cover with a lid and let them cook for about 5 minutes. I'm going to turn the heat down to about a 4 on my stove, which is low to medium. And in a few minutes we'll check on them and then we will flip them. Nice and hot. Nice and toasty brown on the bottom. It's outside in the yard, and I probably should have come in sooner to flip these, but that's all right. So I turned the heat off completely because it's so hot inside the Dutch oven, and I'm just gonna put the lid back on and let these keep cooking. And these are finally ready to serve, so I'm just going to bring them out here, set up a little station because I'm gonna take pictures of them for the vlog. I love to serve these up with honey butter. Just have some already softened butter and add some honey to it. It's a really great topping. And then I like to put eggs on top. Some fresh coffee, fresh honey, and fried eggs with blueberries, butter. This is how I will be eating these English muffins today. In fact, this is actually my plate. 3 eggs, 2 English muffins, some blueberries, and this is what it looks like when you're 7 months pregnant. All right, well, thank you so much for coming along with me as I make whole wheat sourdough English muffins. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. It's very healthy, delicious, easy breakfast idea, especially if you are a whole wheat flour lover. If you're brand new to my page, please hit that subscribe button. Every week I post a new video on farm to table recipes and other homemade natural living. Don't forget to stop by the blog every week as well. I try to get a new blog post published every week. Thank you so much for stopping by the Duvall Homestead.